You have Steam? You play online?
I only use that because of Jackbox games.
Oh, yes. Yes.
So, like,
You should add me. I'm on Steam.
I'd never go on it.
I play.
My brother does. Add my brother.
I only really add people I know, like, 100%. Like, I have Don Hines on there, actually, but I haven't played with him in a long time. I played with him. Don, if you're listening. It's that cock. What? No. So, let's talk about what porns we've been watching lately, or what kind of styles.
Styles of porn?
Moms and Girl Next Door, for me, still, like, heavily. Not heavily, sorry.
Both at the same time?
No, like flip-flop. Sometimes it's moms, like little MILFs, and it depends on my mood.
MILFs.
Or GILFs, depends on, again, my mood.
Kind of, yeah. Across the line of G-MOS.
I don't know, it's... Man, have you seen, like, some older women look fucking, like, spectacularly fucking sexy.
Well, yeah, like when I look at...
like, think of, like, obviously,
Marissa Tomei, who's, like I said, it's like 60. I think she is 60. Ooh, I just got shocked.
Yeah, she's still looking great. Like, I mean, Cassandra Peterson, she's up there, and she still looks fantastic. She's a lesbian, eh?
Yeah, no, lucky her.
Well, unlucky probably for all the male, not all the male fans. I couldn't give a shit, whatever, it's her life. And I never thought I'd ever be able to, be with her. So all the more power to her.
And yeah.
No, I mean,
you cannot.
Those are out of my league women, man. So I tend to keep the ones I know.
Your wife is out of your league.
I thought about that. Thought about that. How's it going?
Hi, Em.
We're back.
Hope you appreciate that.
We're back with actual. If you're watching, and you will never watch again. This is actual episode 5. If you've noticed,
I fucked up in the editing, which I will fix.
So all 3 of our viewers out there, we apologize. So this is actually.
You know what though? I swear to God, I noticed that. Yeah, I might have. I think you know what I actually did is that I had it originally at episode 6.
Okay.
And I knew that was wrong.
Yeah. So you wanted.
So I
to
went
back
I went to episode 5. I'm like, that got to be right.
Yeah, because
but it was off by like
1 episode. Well, I noticed today because I was
so 1, 2,
3, then 5.
Donald.
There's no 4. So 4 should have been Jordan's, I think.
Oh yeah, and Jordan.
Yes.
Okay.
So I only noticed because I was going through the episodes today to see what shirt and pants combination I wore, because I didn't want to repeat my pants, and I didn't, or shirt.
So there's 4. So yes. So Donald's episode was episode 4.
4.
This is 5.
All right. So
I was good at math.
Well, I noticed I was on my phone. It's like episode. Oh, we're missing an episode. Anyways, this is episode 5, right? 5, yeah, 5.
That's 5.
And to commemorate it, oh man, how's it going?
Jesus Christ, those like the Max Headroom glasses,
or like any 1980s fill in the blank, fucking radical.
They look like they're 3D too.
I didn't actually buy these. I found these. We were walking our dogs at the local park a couple weeks ago, and I discovered them while I was retrieving our dog's ball, and they were sitting just on the field. I was like, holy fuck, okay. So I brought them home, and like I don't know if I wore them today. I'm kind of iffy on. I'm obviously not going to wear them the whole episode. Maybe I will. I just found them.
I try to look into your eyes while I'm like trying to talk to you, and all I see is like a reflection of myself. And
I know they're fucking.
I always actually hate that when like you're talking to somebody and it's like, well, you can't really see where my eyes are.
They look cool on you.
They're not bad.
They look. I don't know if they're polarized or not. They're not really clean, but yeah, they're just sitting on the fucking ground, fucking just sitting there. It's like, fuck, okay.
Yeah, not bad. Oh, that's crazy. So I can like see the LED lights inside the actual
let me see.
light. Yeah.
Maybe they are.
So, like all we see is just like.
Oh, that's dope.
Yeah.
I gotta clean those. and scratch
Yeah, you
it
got to
all
do
too.
that too.
Anyways, yeah, no, I found them the other day. I was like, fucking, might as well be Dr. Cool.
Dr. Cool.
So we're back
Yeah.
with another episodic adventure of the Blois and Dan podcast. Cheers. It's been a couple weeks since our last adventure. Don was our last guest. Thanks for being on the show, Don.
And now we're into a new year.
Fuck these.
First episode of the new year.
Yes, 2022 is now upon us. What a great way to bring it in. And
we keep getting into the future.
I'm not getting any. My wife just brought the curtain down on me, the dark curtain on me a little bit the other day. It's like, you're turning 40 this year, right? It's like, oh God, yes I am.
Fuck you.
I'll be 40. Well, you're 41.
Yes.
Yeah,
I'll be 42 this year.
I know, man. Like we're catching up there, man. Like,
you know what's funny? Because at this age now, I keep forgetting how old I am. I know I'm over 40, and I'm like I keep thinking, I was like, how old am I? 40. I'm 40 something. But anyways, it's like I do hate growing older. I hate being like 40. But
you notice things change a lot because I've noticed.
Gotten fatter.
Me too. Fatter and grayer, and this is interesting. Emily also brought this up, my wife. So she noticed that I've been snoring more during sleep, especially like if I'm working all day, like I do an 8-hour shift and I'm tired and I just want to, she's discovered that like she has to poke me in the ribs sometimes to get me to shut the fuck up. and yeah, so I've been snoring because I never snored really when we first started dating, and that's 12 years ago now.
So are you just like more tired at night?
I don't know. I think it's just in something with going on inside of me that's, got me fucking snoring, man. It's worse after.
Has nothing changed? Like
nothing, no diet. I mean, I'm not the best shape in my life. Maybe
You're
I need
not in bad shape though.
I'm not the worst shape, but I'm definitely, my cardiovascular system can use a
I'll say, okay, if visually you don't look out of shape, you actually look in shape visually. Though I know you
take the shirt off, you'll see a different side of me.
Doing your work at your job, that's probably like why your muscles are what they are right now.
Well, it's funny enough that I've noticed also my weight's been kind of hovering up and down lately too. Depends on the diet at the time, but I've never been above 200, but I've been kind of yo-yoing between like 180 to maybe 10 pounds heavier than that. But other than that, I mean, excuse me, I have a pretty hefty appetite, but I'm the kind of guy, like the MacIsaac genes, I would never get obese. Like my immediate family, like my dad ate like a fucking horse. And, I've never been obese. I've never had to worry about gaining a lot of fucking weight, like 200 or 300 or 400 pounds or whatever, man. Like, I don't know what.
Not a lot of people have to worry about hitting 300.
Oh, I know. I know people that,
But at that same time, yeah, like, I'm the heaviest I've ever been now.
Same. Well, actually, no, I'm not, because I was 200 in high school.
I'm almost 190.
Are you? No,
Yeah.
you're not, are you?
Yeah.
Get the fuck out of town.
Yeah.
I was 200 in high school because
most of my life I've been 155.
I was about, what was I in high school? I think in high school I was about $175, I think, around there. But I was working out.
It's like $140.
Well, I was, yeah, and you're shorter than me as well. But I was also at that time late 90s, early 2000s. I was working out extensively. Me and my older brother would work out a couple times a week. We'd go to the gym together, work out at home. And I was swimming a lot back then too, as a cool down after the gym. And I was about $170, soaking wet. And, I had abs back then. I was working out. But my heaviest, before I quit smoking in high school, before I dropped the McDonald's and the Wendy's, I was 200. At my heaviest. And I saw pictures of me recently in high school. My face was blown out. Like I looked fat, like I looked unhealthy. And I know 200 isn't, I was like, 200, to me, that was, the sign of like, maybe I should, like, first I quit all the fucking McDonald's, almost all
McDonald's
fast
is
food.
The worst.
McDonald's, we were discussing this the other day. It's not food.
It's not. I tell people all the time. Like
you don't eat that shit,
family,
do you?
No. So
I used to love McDonald's.
Well, this is the thing. So I've eaten McDonald's before, like not
I still
regularly.
love McDonald's, man.
But so I do like get a craving for a Big Mac every now and again.
Same, actually.
But I'll say maybe it was the last time I got it. I got food poisoning. I got food poisoning twice from McDonald's. And
yeah, I can see that.
I know though. So after midnight, they have they make everything fresh. They're required to. So hopefully, ideally they do.
I didn't know that.
It's the best time to go because that's going to be your freshest food. Any time that I did, like the 2 times that I got food poisoning was times that was just like an evening or whatever.
Those you're probably eating the later shit. Or
yeah, and honestly,
like
when you take the bite, it's like this doesn't feel right.
I've been there,
and my brother got food poisoning. My stepfather got food poisoning. It's like, and I told him my brother loves.
Is this
McDonald's.
the same location?
These are different locations.
Okay.
And my brother loves McDonald's, and I was just like, I tell him, like McDonald's, like find another burger joint, like anything
or
else.
Start making your own. Like that's what I do, man. Like I love making my own burgers,
but
man. Like
McDonald's is like it's not food. Like they show shit online. Like the guy like had like what is like a quarter pounder in a box for like 20 years, and it did not grow any mold or anything.
And the burger looks
like
fresh.
It's like you don't. Like that's not right. Like it's not food.
It's not, and and as a kid, like in the 80s into the 90s, like it was a treat going to McDonald's and you get like your Happy Meal and your toys. And back then, and then I loved McDonald's for years. And then back when I was younger, like I could eat like a fucking horse and not gain a lot of weight, and I'd still be. If you looked at me as a kid and seen pictures, I looked like I was malnourished. My ribs, you can see my ribs.
Well, yeah,
I was a really skinny fucking kid. I wouldn't wear. I was embarrassed. I wouldn't wear like a lot of tank tops and that kind of shit because it was really even in my teens. Like I didn't really
too skinny.
I was really skinny, and I was probably the skinniest out of. Actually, I think John might have been skinnier than I was back in.
John's still like the skinniest of you guys.
He is actually. Chris, Chris is the bigger guy. But lately, we make a lot of food ourselves. But we do like a lot of home cooked meals ourselves as well. And my treat going out is I still love like my Achilles heel is pizza. Like my go-to if I'm gonna splurge is pizza usually a lot of the time.
We'll probably be ordering pizza later.
Yeah, so I thought that too.
Hungry.
I ate actually today. We went to yesterday. Long story short. Work got called off early because of the shitstorm.
Sorry. Donald says, I think it was Donald or somebody said, like, you guys should like call the show Long Story Short, because every time you say that,
actually, that was
there's already something. There's already like another podcast.
That's a very popular way
easy.
to. Well, actually, they say that at work because a lot of the times, if I say long story short, the story is like
a drinking thing.
Yeah,
every time Dan says long story, just short, have a drink.
I'm so fucking. You'd be loaded by the end of the fucking first fucking episode.
You'll just be like long story short, long story short.
I'm a talker, man. Like a lot of people's like a lot of guys. This one guy at work who's not with us anymore. He's in the military now. He said like, holy fuck, this guy can talk. And I talk referring to me because like, well, I mean, I was in radio for a spell and like I'm a talker, like I know how to talk. And I talked a lot in college rather. I would do a lot of public speaking in front of the class and that kind of shit. And I always liked it, man. As a kid, I didn't like it as much because I was a really shy kid. But then once I started, coming out of my shell and getting more used to being in the public eye, and I still like doing. I love being the center of attention. Attention.
As long as I've known you, you're like that type of person. I can't tell you how many times I've seen you naked in public, let alone just.
It's been a few. I can go on record. I can go on record and say that's been a few. I have streaked a few times.
I've done it once or twice, a couple times.
Fucking. Yeah, it's been a while. Would I do it again? Probably not, because I'm a different person. Like. I was thinking about this the other day too. Speaking of going back in time,
people don't want to see that.
Well, yeah, that too. And I'm surprised I didn't get thrown in jail for the multiple times I've done. But going back, like I was almost a completely different person. Say like when we met, around the time where we met at the first time, wherever the fuck the date was.
Yeah.
And I was living, back then with my brothers or whatever. Actually, well, John wasn't with us at that time, but. I referred to it as the Canard days, Canard Street days, because it was a party house, it was a drop-in center. All our friends, anybody who was anybody dropped in. you included. You were one of the VIPs for fuck's sakes, man. Like I was a totally different person. I was, smoking dope every day almost. And, we drank ourselves to alcoholism.
I can't imagine. Like, I would actually like to see like the cumulative amount of alcohol that was drank at that house.
Like the ratio, like that. Well, remember
not just by you guys, but by
everybody. Like the place was, we had multiple, especially on the weekends. Like we'd have multiple, even if it wasn't a party, there would be multiple people hanging out.
Everybody's in a band.
Yep. Everybody was going to Gus's at that time, and it was just around the corner. Both my brothers were in bands. You were in bands with them, and people. If you wanted to gear up before the show, we do it at our place, and especially if everybody was in the band together. So I miss those fucking days again. Would I do it again? Probably not.
Not now. I'd repeat it. Like,
yeah, but maybe have the same people over. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I often wondered what the place looks like now, because the place was decent. And, we had a lot of people over. Anybody who was anybody would drop in and just to say hi or have a beer or whatever. And the fucking patio we had out front off of my bedroom was spectacular. Barbecue out there. We had a hammock. You could chick watch from the terrace out there, and which we all did.
I remember that.
Especially when we were single.
Yeah.
But my God, dude, like we were different. I was a different person, different personality. Just kind of didn't give a fuck kind of attitude. And, like now I'm like more mature.
Now you have to give a fuck because your responsibilities are now attached to somebody else.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I mean, I'm married now. So
you can't go streaking because you might go to jail, lose your job, and lose your wife.
True. And I have a lot riding on that.
Yeah.
So, I'll lose everything.
A lot riding on me, keep my clothes on.
It's true. And I did have a good time. And I would, even back then, dude, I was reckless. Like I'd be doing stupid shit. And I've been thrown in the drunk tank a handful of times, doing stupid shit.
I wouldn't want to be thrown in a drunk tank again. It sucks, actually. And it's just a waste of time, honestly. I was thinking about that the other day. It's like, I was talking to somebody about how our police station is still that same building that's been there since forever, right? And
the one by a propeller?
It's like so small, and like the city has grown so much, and like, is this not more cops, or is this like, like I know there's other little stations like popping around the city, but even those are just like an office for them to come out of.
The police headquarters in Burnside. I passed by there the other day. There's a police headquarters.
Oh, okay. I didn't know
So
that.
there is a police HQ. It's not too far from where I work. I work in the park as well. And it's I don't know exactly what they do. I don't know if they house criminals there. There's also the prison, which I worked at in Burnside. There's a prison / mental institution there, which I worked at back in the day.
So, like at the police station, they have their holding cells.
The one down here?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's it, and that takes up like a good, like that's a big chunk of what I remember. The that level floor, right?
What do they house? Do they house criminals in that one?
They wouldn't house them, like they wouldn't, like if somebody's like fucking.
Well, where's the closest jail? I
think it's the one in Burnside.
Is that the one?
Shelburne?
Shelburne probably be the closest, like high facility.
Yeah, I don't know where all the prisons. Actually, I don't know much about the prison system in Halifax.
Nor do I. It was scary though, because long story short, take a drink. I worked there for a spell when I was with Capital Health, and we were geared out there to deal with more of the mental patients as well, dealing with their meds and shit. And I also had to go into the prison section as well. People spit at me. Yes, spit at, yelled at. One guy came up in my face. This big black guy comes up, and he was just, and the guard was right there, and I almost shit my pants. He didn't do anything because he has probably a lot riding on his making it out of that prison probably, but it was scary. I was actually involved in a lockdown. There was a prison riot. Oh yeah. So I was locked in between this long hallway. I couldn't go anywhere. So I was like, I had to call my superiors, like, hey, I can't do whatever duties I had to do. I'm in lockdown. So I had to, because they
sorry, I'm in lockdown.
I can't do it. Can't do
that
anything.
Sucks. Be not a prisoner or whatever, but be at the jail during a lockdown. You're just like, god damn it. How long did that last?
Not quite an hour.
Okay, that's not bad.
It sucked. I couldn't go anywhere, so I can't remember exactly what happened and why. I met 2 guys I met there that I knew personally. One was a mental patient and one was a prisoner. Both used to come to my Irving. One actually ended up working at the Shell station across from where I worked in Coal Harbor. The guy that worked at Shell, I always thought he was kind of off. He'd come over and buy smokes from us, and not not to make fun of anybody disabled. I would never do that, but there was something just kind of there was something kind of not clicking there. But he ended up being one of my patients that I had to deal with meds, like getting him his meds and anything like that. And I was like, holy fuck, I know this guy. And another guy, he was a prisoner. It was a prison / mental institution. Anyways, this guy, he used to come into my Irving as well. And he was always kind of off too, but ended up, I think there was some sort of domestic shit that he got thrown in there for that I heard. And there was always something off about him too, but he'd always come to my Irving. We met a lot of guys through that Irving down in Coal Harbor. I worked there during high school. So, but it was pretty scary. I had to escort someone who worked for Bell into the mental institution part of it, and I had to protect him and just kind of like
protect. What are you going to do?
Well, if one of the inmates or one of the patients happened to lose it and attack us, and so I had to kind of like make my just hover around while he was working on the phone lines or some bullshit. So yeah, it was interesting, man. So met some interesting cats there. And
how did why were you there? Is this something your standard?
Well,
everybody has to do this.
Well, I remember when I worked for Porter Services at Capital Health at the hospitals.
Yeah,
we were contracted through them to work at the mental institution and the jail to deal with medication dispersion.
So did you know this before you got the job?
No, they kind of brought this on to me a year or 2 into it, and they said,
"Did you have the option to say no?"
Yep. But I wanted to do it because it sounded interesting and it was closer to where I lived. So back then I was busing a lot, so it was like 1 bus to get there. So they told me about it. It's like, hey man, we have this opportunity right now at the Dartmouth jail, or whatever, and they're looking for porters. So if you're interested, it's like, yeah, what's it entail? And they told me, it's like, sign me up. That wasn't that. It was that. And also I did 2 years, I think it was, or at least a year at the emergency department, the new emergency department at the time at the infirmary. That was interesting. Got to see some people that you wouldn't want to have shit done to you. One of them was a failed suicide attempt. Slit her throat, but she didn't do it all the way. She was screaming when she came in off the ambulance.
That would be...
It was disturbing.
Not the right way to do that.
No, I asked the nurse, like, what's going on with her failed suicide attempt?
It's like that's a weird one.
Yeah. Oh, it got worse. Like it was. Oh man. Like I'm not gonna bore all 2 listeners now. Probably 1 left. Or viewers. Fuck. Yeah, that's a weird thing. Like we went from listeners to viewers now. Like it's so we went from 2 fans to maybe 4. And I have YouTube to thank to get our platform out there, and I like to think that we do. We're not up there with Joe Rogan or any of the
we're not up there with like
Fighter
anybody.
And the Kid or Fighter and the Kid. They have kind of a minimalist.
They're one of the bigger podcasts,
but they're also celebrities. So
like the thing is, we get we're lucky. We'll be happy if we get.
I'm lucky if my fucking own mother watches us, man. So
the deal is, I guess apparently you get 100 subscribers, and then you actually get your name. So it's like, right now it's YouTube with a bunch of numbers and letters.
You can get plaques. You can get like honorary awards, like if you get like 1 million viewers or whatever.
Yeah, and we're not again, our problem is you don't have social media, which totally takes away from 90% of.
But I also think we should just do a Blois and Dan Facebook page.
Then why don't you just do that?
Maybe I will. I'll have to discuss it.
You need to have an actual Facebook account to do that, though.
I know. Maybe you should do it, and I'll add to it.
I can't be doing everything.
I know. Maybe I will then. Maybe I'll be that guy. We'll discuss it though.
I already produce it, co-host it,
edit,
fund it.
Yeah, I'll give you money for it.
Edit it. Yeah.
But yeah, no, I can definitely look into that. Anyways, I've been taking a break from it for a while, and I do miss some aspects of it as well.
So it's just for like networking.
Just
Again,
to get
if you were on there, we'd get twice as many views,
Mm.
and but that's also like that twice as many views can help so much. And a lot of the people
Mhm.
who would be probably more interested in coming on as guests and stuff like that. Like you're the one who got like Brian McCory when we were doing the audio, and Josh actually, but I knew Josh too.
Yeah, that sucks that we couldn't get Brian back on with now that we're.
We will eventually when he's
Did he sound interested at all? Like,
he just doesn't have anything on the go.
Fair enough.
I don't really want to.
Yeah, we
Talk
only.
about why people don't want to be on the podcast.
Well, no, I'm not going to force. I'm not going to put a gun in anybody's head, man. But I mean, yeah, I mean, I have ideas of who we should get on as well.
But that's for other talk.
How are you?
Bored most of the time.
Me too. It's just
there's been not like
it's been a weird
New Year's like me and Donald hung out, but like I was actually.
What did you do?
Well, I was planning. So my friends had like a little Christmas get together. Less than 10 of us for sure.
Here?
No, at their place. This was before Christmas, and then I was just thought like, okay, maybe I should have a get together at my place. It's been a while, and again, not like a bunch of people.
You
like,
always threw a pretty decent.
I threw parties, but not like with the COVID and all this shit. And it's not even just like protocols. It's people's not wanting to be out with the people anyways. Like just just personal thoughts and of
Well, it's just
people's own priorities. And
that's just to be safe, man. Like it's
so I wouldn't have like a lot of people, just like a handful. But the thing is, my roommate got he was near somebody who got COVID, so that was at Christmas, so we weren't sure. It takes some time to incubate, so it's like there wasn't enough time.
So did you have to as well? Since
I took a test, but just like I came, we were both negative.
Okay.
Like everything was fine, but we just didn't know. So I couldn't say, yeah, I'm gonna have a party when, I might have COVID.
Yeah.
So I can't, I can't just make a party. So day of, we found out that we were good, but at that same time, it's like everybody at this point is just all just staying home by themselves anyway.
That's what we were thinking. We didn't.
You never like the last like however many fucking.
I know I don't go out anymore. I'm lame.
Doing a party once or twice a year is good for you.
It is. I agree.
Socialize with your friends.
I agree.
Keep up with life. It's the only time people get to see each other nowadays. Like I'm sure everybody has their best friends and they hang out with, but like I don't really like again like.
Well, I like to get you over. Like you've never.
It's hard for me to get over there.
Been to my fucking. I have a house.
I have been to your house.
We can be loud. Times. We can play music, and
I've been to your house multiple times.
You can shit on my floor if you want to, and watch me play video games. We'll be right back. But you should come over. Like we've been talking about actually having like we have a fire pit. Once, I mean, now we can't do it now per se.
In the middle of winter,
because fucking blanket of snow there. But because I like to have, if it's outside, it's more people more adept to be outside, and we can social distance more easier, and you can take a piss in the woods if you want to. Have a barbecue in the back. So I mean,
yeah,
I've been kind of back and forth about it, but
one, it's getting over there. Like if we want to party or whatever, it's like I'd have to stay. I can't get a cab back.
Well, we do have.
My other problem is my allergies, which I'm affected just by being next to you.
And I have 3 animals at the house too. But I mean, we will disinfect. We have a bottom bedroom with a futon. And it's actually a rather large room, so you could situate that somehow.
Then you have to multiple people and the whatevers and whatnots.
True.
But yeah, so part like it's different when everybody lives like so far away from each other, and like I don't have a car currently, and yeah, like going to your place is hard because I don't have a car, and again staying there and all that shit. But it is everybody's far away. It's like I understand like you guys moving away from the hustle and bustle of like everybody.
That wasn't even it. The place we lived in before. I had a massive leak in the basement. We found out there was a huge hole.
That place down, what is
it? Down Newcastle,
oh,
like
wow.
close to downtown Dartmouth. I came down. Here's how I discovered it. Emily was on work term in Ontario, and I worked Monday to Friday, so I don't usually do laundry till the weekend. So I went a whole fucking week, and we had a major rainstorm that week. So it's Saturday morning. I'm alone. The wife's out in Ontario, so I'm gonna bang out some laundry. Laundry's in the basement. I have a washer dryer, so I get my laundry together, go downstairs, and I stop dead in my tracks. Fucking water up to almost to my knees in my basement.
Was it like even like for the washer and dryer? Was it like
The washer and dryer? Thank fucking God, was on staging or like a higher, like it was on like
that was high enough though, to keep it out of the water?
Yes.
Yeah.
I think
it makes me think that they expect.
Maybe not, actually. I can't remember. No, because it wasn't anything to do with that. They discovered there was a massive crack in the foundation where the rainwater was getting in. So, like, there's shit. My collectibles, my belongings, and Emily's are all floating by me. So, I forget who I called first. I think I called my dad. I called my dad. I was like, Dad.
No, that's the first call as a parent.
Yes, and I'm 40 years old almost. I'm still calling mommy and daddy for my problems. So he comes over, and then I call the landlady, who was a complete bitch. Not going to name names, obviously, but she was fucking useless as a fucking.
Like, what are they gonna say?
Well, even when we discovered it, she said she wasn't even going to try to fix it. She put a sub pump in, which, took care of any excess water. We basically had to bring in a company that brought in a pump and had it pumped out to the street and into a sewer drain. So that took a fucking couple days.
I feel like that would cost more than just fixing the crack.
Well, foundation work is not easy.
Well, I don't know. I would assume they could fill the crack with those crack filly guys.
Yeah. And she said she wouldn't do it. So after that was said and done, we gathered what we could and threw out the shit that we couldn't keep. And Emily and I both lost irreplaceable heirlooms and family heirlooms and stuff that I will never see again.
You guys had insurance?
No.
What?
Not house insurance. So now we got fucked on that. I've never had it, but
you have it now?
No.
Dude,
I know.
I know. Dude, you have to. I have insurance.
Yeah, but that doesn't replace. It doesn't
replace
the family heirlooms. And
it
shit.
doesn't replace heirlooms, but at the same time,
you're covered with.
You're not even thinking about just like what you lost at that point. Anything can happen. Your house now could catch on fire. You lose your couch, your bed, your everything. Like, it's $1,000 to replace a bed. Like and all your clothes and everything. Like,
So was you paying a monthly fee?
Yeah, it's like $50 a month.
That's not too bad. I know people.
No, it's less than that, actually. It's less than that.
That's like people with pet insurance too. If they have emergencies, like people should have that. And so maybe I should have.
I have equipment that, I like this, like what you people can't see.
Yeah, you want to keep protected. So I get that. So,
and also technically on a lease, I don't know why, or I don't know if it's on yours or not. Like on my lease, it's like it says you're required to have apartment insurance. Which
he didn't bring it up with us. Not mine.
For me, again, it's I'm gonna get it anyways to protect my shit, because if my house caught on fire and I lost all that and I couldn't replace, I do not have the funds to replace everything. This is like a cumulative shit of since I was 15.
Yep.
So it's 25 years worth of buying stuff.
Yeah, and that's the thing. It would cost, and with insurance, would they cover everything?
They cover, so it's to a money degree, which I would cap out for sure. I think mine's around 25, 30,000. So not just that, but for everything from couches to beds.
Yep, and personal belongings and shit,
all that shit.
Dildo collection and whatever you have up there.
That's the most expensive.
It's a lot. But going back. That's the reason why we left, because she wouldn't budge on fixing the place up. So we said, you know what? Well, fuck this. We're out.
It's shitty to have a shitty landlord.
She was a fucking useless tool.
I had a landlord once that so we had a problem and I told the maintenance guy about it. Anyways, a month or so later, maybe longer, I don't know. But anyways, the actual landlord came just to do their, just seeing how their building's looking and whatnot.
Yeah.
and I told, like, you know, I said this isn't working. And I told them that, and it never came to fix it. It's like, well, you got to keep telling us, or it's neglect. I'm like,
It was something in your
yeah,
your
she
unit.
said, yeah, and she said, like, you know, you got to tell us, or it's neglect. And it's like, I did told, like, you know, it's like, you know, but how are you telling me it's neglect?
Maybe we
when
had
you are neglecting the thing that I told you about.
Yeah.
Like, no, they're cunts.
Yeah.
They
No, she was.
fucking,
So was mine.
Yeah, like they might be, maybe it was the same woman.
We need. Tell me after this. Yeah.
I don't know the name. Actually, no, I don't know the name.
Yeah. But that would be hilarious if it was the same one, because this one was neglecting me. It's a sheer fact that.
Yeah, no, that's the same thing what they were doing. Like, I told them, but because I'm not, like, you know, on their asses about it, she's gonna say that I'm neglecting the place.
Fuck her.
No, exactly. I was just like, it's one of those things. It was first, like, so basically,
Pardon me.
Basically, I'm ready for it because I've dealt with enough landlords to know. But it's like,
what was the issue? Do you remember?
I don't remember what the issue was, but it's like, you know, that was the first, like, you know, one of my first places living, you know, on my own, well, friends and shit. But it's just like that it was one of those things that dumbfounded me. It's like, how are you saying I'm neglecting the place when I told you about it and you didn't do it?
What did she say when you first said it? Do you remember?
I didn't say that. That's what that's what I thought. After, again, I was dumbfounded at the time, like, that she said that.
And this is her investment too. I mean,
yeah,
like, it's her.
That's the thing. It's like, don't get mad at me. I told you about the problem.
Yeah,
he didn't fix it. Your man, your house. It's, you know, you've been made aware.
Well, the one we were dealing with, her Band-Aid idea. Or quick fix was putting a sub pump in,
which
and it worked.
I feel like that's a lot of work though too.
It is, and we had to get it installed. Not on our fucking dime.
No,
fuck that. But it's a sheer fact that we left because she wouldn't fix the crack, and this would keep happening. So water would still keep coming in and pumped out, but it's just the sheer fact that she wouldn't fix it. So it was like, fuck this, I'm out. We weren't necessarily looking to live on the outskirts of town, which we pretty much are. But we're next to, like, Forest Hills and Cole Harbour and shit. But we happened to come across this place online. It was for sale first off, and we kind of, you know, dabbled with maybe we can afford it to buy, but somebody else snapped up before us. Anyways, we found out that he put it up for rent. Went and met the guy. He showed us around. Place was being renovated at the time. It's an old place, probably 60 plus years old.
Oh yeah.
Anyways, yeah, so he said, here's your paperwork and fill it out. And we went to breakfast that morning, filled the paperwork while we're waiting. We snapped a snapshot of it, sent him via email, I guess. That stop?
No, it was about to. Check.
Anyways, so yeah, no, we applied that day. He approved us the next day. And we beat out other prospective people who were looking, and there were other people looking to get there. So, and it's a nice little house. It's not without it's you know,
no, you have a nice house, and it's out of the way of everything.
It is, and it's quiet. The only neighbor, I have two neighbors. One's just on the corner, not a direct neighbor, but he's on the corner from where you come in from the street. And the other direct neighbor is a golf course, well, driving range / mini putt. But they're done for the season, so there's fucking only deer and coyotes.
Is there many people over there, like, during the summer too?
Yeah, I can hear them every day. Just
day.
Cracking the balls. Yep. Just hooting and hollering. But I have a natural tree line that kind of goes around the perimeter of my yard. So it acts as like it filters out a lot of noise, and they can't really see me. And so I can walk around naked in the backyard, and the mini putt won't see much. But
you're going to the mini putt next to the nudist guy.
Susie, no, don't look. No, it's great though, man, because honestly, look
at the size of his club.
I just got a hole in one. Oh, fuck, we're out of here. We're out of here.
Is it a 7 iron, an 8 iron, 9
iron? Look at the wood on that one. Look at the bogey on her. Anyways, I did an experiment. I cranked my music up as high as it could go. I was the only one home. Emily was probably in Ontario again. She works a lot in Ontario with her job. And I walked towards Bill's place, which is the guy in the corner, just to see if he can actually hear me. And the music started to die. So we got halfway between my place and his place, and it died out pretty much. about a little halfway to his place. Like, okay, so I'm not really pissing this guy off. He's probably not hearing me much, unless I'm on the yard fucking screaming.
Well, even if you're doing that and he's in his place.
True. And and my music was inside. So I mean, so I just wanted to see if you could actually hear me, because if I'm blasting my music, I'm the only one home. Obviously, I like to have music going or play loud music, video games or movies, right? So, but he really couldn't hear fuck all, man. So it's great. It's a good spot. It's quiet. It's tucked away. Not a lot of people know where it is.
It's far away. See, I'm in the city.
It's far away from. It's hard to get over to Halifax. I mean, we drive. It's fine, but I mean,
no, it's hard to get to Dartmouth. Get that right.
Not a lot of people like. But I mean, you like to come over, man, because it's, especially in the summertime. We hang in the backyard.
That's a nice place. I'm actually I'm getting to eventually soon, hopefully, whatever, I'm gonna be looking to get a car or vehicle, whatever of sorts. And at that point, I'd like to do it before the summer. So it's when I get a car, I can traverse. There's friends like my friend John. I haven't he lives out in Eastern Passage. I haven't seen him in forever, and it's just it's a pain in the ass to get out there.
I just don't see it's your livelihood too. Even just to get a thing, go for groceries or whatever.
Groceries, everything that I have. I have a work vehicle, so I can get things like groceries during lunch breaks or right after work before I come home. Shit like that. Everything in the middle of the city. Everything's near everything's
you got a superstore down the road. I'll see, and
the mall is a few blocks away. Grocery store's a few blocks away.
Can you walk to the mall easily?
The mall's a kilometer. It's not at all.
Oh yeah, you would be pretty close too.
It's nothing as far. So I don't need a car, but I want one for the freedom of it. Again, I just can't go up and go to the beach.
Yeah, if you want to go out to a place that's out of.
If I want to go visit my friends who live in buttfuck nowhere, it's I need a way to get there. So yeah, and other reasons too. I love road tripping and camping and all that shit. But I just road trip. I just do like to have a vehicle, and I do actually not having a vehicle really does deter me from going to do things. I should do this today. It's I have to walk,
and it's freezing
like
fucking cold.
It's I just want my car, So I'm thinking about buying a car. I don't know anything yet because it's not in my immediate plans, but eventually, and again, hopefully before the summer, I should have something.
Also, too, on that, in the probably springtime, my wife will be going back to Ontario for a spell.
So I can have your guys' car?
No, well, I've been
going to have your license by then?
Yes, that's what I'm getting to. Because I finally...
I can't imagine you drive. I can't imagine being in a car with you in the driver's seat.
My brother was mentioning that the other day. I had him...
Who, Chris? Or?
Nah, John.
Him either.
No, he actually... it was just around the corner from work. We picked him up at Tim's and we worked together, so I didn't want to... I was there getting food and he was there. So I was like, yeah, we'll drive you there. And he was in the backseat and he commended me on it. I was like, yeah, I'm really proud of you, bro. I was like, just something I need to happen, man. I've been driving almost every weekend, driving to work if it's not too fucked out weather-wise. And I love it. I love to drive. I just shouldn't have waited so long, but before the springtime, I will be fully licensed and that's my aim. And I'll have a vehicle because Emily will be away. And that gives me the car. So I'll come with you and I'll take us for a road trip. I'll take us to Angie's. I will.
Will Emily?
I mean, we're going to see AC/DC, hun. We're back in black.
I wonder, and that's another thing, COVID and shit. And I'm wondering if
the strip clubs are still operating. Wait, can you? Are they wearing masks? So are they technically stripping if they have a mask on?
That'd be terrible if you couldn't. I don't. That shouldn't. Okay, I understand a woman's beautiful body still, but I don't want them to wear the mask on.
It deters.
I wonder though, because I think I kind of have. I don't have any reason, to really think it, any facts behind it, but I feel like strip clubs and stuff like that are not as what they used to be.
I think
including COVID in that scenario, because that's going to deter people too. A lot of more incels and people and millennials and people just don't.
Well, that's the thing. This generation.
How many women are still doing that, or I
don't know. But with this generation,
And I know there's going to be people who don't care and will still like,
well, that's the thing with this generation coming up now, the generation below us. Sure.
Keep talking, I'll hear you.
Yeah. Give me one too, bro. It's different from what our generation is because back when I was of age, we used to go to the local strip joint in town. I won't name names. It's not there anymore. There's not. I don't even think there's any strip clubs this side of fucking Moncton.
When I was when I was like just about to turn 19,
Did you go to the
three
one,
clubs that I knew of. There was the Lighthouse down on Barrington,
Right.
which is where across from where the Tim Hortons is. But that went out of business like before I turned 19 or whatever.
I've
There was
heard the
the Load
stories. Load of Mischief.
in
Sackville.
Sackville, which I never got to go, and that went out of business like maybe a year
I
or
was
two
in there
after.
once, but that I was working for a company that provides booze to local watering holes. So I was there once to drop off beer. I was doing delivery service for this company, and I was there once. It was so dark and not well lit, dingy looking. Nothing was. It was a strip club, but nothing was going on. I don't think they were open at the time or whatever, or maybe they were between hours. But nothing. There was no strippers around, which sucks because that would have been cool. But there was also there's Ralph's place. That was the first one I went to.
There's Ralph's, which
You went to Ralph's, right?
yeah, was it the first one I went to?
That was the first one I went to.
I don't know what the first one I went to. So, but yeah, there was Ralph's, which was around forever. It was around before I
That was the
of
most-
age. It was around like until like a couple of years ago.
That was my generation's go to for like.
There were sensations in between that time.
Oh yeah, BYOB. Remember that
the early
bullshit?
2000s. Well, that's what actually. So that was the thing. So I was there opening night of Sensations.
The opening night.
Yeah, and it was fantastic. They had Miss Nude Canada. They had like a bunch of strippers. There was actually a stripper there that I saw way before at a strip club in Moncton. I can't remember the name of that strip club in Moncton now. Night something.
Was there another one?
There was Night Magic, I believe. There was like, so when you were in Moncton before, like this is like 2000. I was with Melissa, so like 2002-ish, and around that range.
How old
Anyways,
were you then?
22. I was born in 80.
That's right. Yeah, because I was born in 82.
So whatever the first number of the year is, and that's my A.
Carry 2 and
So you go down this strip, and what's the same strip that I believe Angie's is on? But anyways, you're going down strip club.
it's all Moncton.
Yeah, there was at least like 4 or 5, like
Shit.
pretty much all on the same road.
Yeah,
It was popular back.
it's their red light district.
Yeah, and we went to one there, and it was really awesome. It was nice, and one of the strippers there, her name was Sky. She was this tall, like beautiful woman. Anyways, I saw her at Sensations that opening night too.
Nice. Did you get a lap dance or hair to the dog that night too?
No.
Could you get? Because I know at Ralph's
know
you
what
could only
the
get
rules-
private dances,
yeah.
but you couldn't do lap dances at Ralph's. Could you get lap dances? At
I don't remember, and I didn't know. But at that time, though, we went there. It was just the one big bar. Everything was there, and then so rules and stipulations came upon them. So they had to like block off. One part was for the strippers, which you couldn't have alcohol, and the other part you could have alcohol. And then it became that thing. Well, you have to bring your own beer or whatever, and
Such a
it was just it
weird
became
dichotomy
because
that-
they just basically what happened is everybody around them, like the city, did whatever they could to fuck up their business. It's like, it's not. They
didn't want it
They
in their
weren't directly
neighborhood.
just like, no, you're up and out. It's like, well, we can't have them stay. So they did their diabolical fucking.
That's what led to the demise of it, man. Like,
Yeah. It wasn't a bad bar. It was a nice bar, actually.
it used to be, when I was a kid, it was
yeah.
Little Nashville.
Yeah.
Little fucking country bar. Not little, but
And
it was the Matador at one point, I think, as well.
Yeah.
My buddy's father bartended there for a while, but
yeah, then this one, and then Ralph stayed. There's no other strip clubs in Nova Scotia, as far as I know.
I don't think so. There was also, remember the
And-
Gentleman's Club? I've never been, but there was one on Windmill Road at the corner just by
No,
the sports
I
box.
don't know about it.
There was like a gentleman's club. I mean, you get like I don't know. I think it was like a lot of hookers
And then
hanging out there.
Angie's- Actually, this is something. Strip clubs. What would you call those strip clubs? Exotic dance clubs? What's the...
What? Which ones?
Any of them. Strip
Exotic clubs, I guess.
clubs, Canada. Adult entertainment clubs.
Yeah.
So Ralph's is still on there with a 2.6.
Out of what?
Out of 5.
Oh, does it get reviews? Let's read some. That'd be fucking funny. Let's read some reviews.
Strippers are us. What?
Is that a thing?
They're open now. Closes at 12 a.m. 26.
Where is this?
I was on that road the other day.
Where?
So I'll just show you. It's not a place, it's like a club.
It's a private, like probably
It's
in
somebody's
basement.
No, it's probably them. Like, this person is a stripper, so she probably
Does that at her house.
Yeah.
Tough times in the Maritimes, man. You got to make the ends meet somehow, right?
So there's one. So Angie's in.
Is that still
It
active?
says it's open at 7. 4 hours. You can get there.
Well, I also heard. I know you heard of this too. I heard someone tell me that they weren't exotic dancers anymore. It was just like, I don't know what the fucking deal is. Like I don't. Well, I'll never probably know, obviously, but I know the time we were there, it was a sight to behold.
So there's Blush in St. John, New Brunswick, and then Nexus Club Wanda in Montreal. Then the rest are all in Montreal. Unless I was pretty sure they had them in Newfoundland.
Yeah, I'd seen. Or what?
There's
George
yeah.
Street?
So like looking at this, there's not many. Yeah, like strip clubs left.
It's a dying art, man. Like it's with porn being accessible. It's
That's the other thing, actually. Yeah, like porn
it's-
is right there for everybody nowadays.
Yeah, it's like
so it's
quick Google search away.
Nobody's buying porn magazines anymore. Nobody's
No.
fucking
Magazines are way of the dinosaurs, man. Like
Nobody's. I don't know if anybody's playing porn videos. I assume they wouldn't be because nobody buys regular movies.
well, DVDs are still things. Sensations or not Sensations. It was on Main Street. They moved into actually Cole Harbor. Pleasures and Treasures.
Yeah.
They sell DVDs, like adult DVDs.
Yeah, no, and it's but again, like, are they selling them?
I don't know. I am not buying them.
Like, do you not know how to Google?
Yeah, well, look at the older generation too, like lonely old men who probably don't know how to use a laptop and they want access to porn.
We're 20 years in, more than 20 years into the
internet age. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, the internet age that we grew into.
Yeah. So I can understand a 60-year-old maybe
Find a
not.
celeb.com was
Well,
my
not
first.
even like I'll say like you should be able to like if you're under 60, you should know how to use all these things. If you're above 60, maybe I'll give you some leniency. But again, like you're still like you would have been 40 when internet started.
I'd say 50 below.
No, well, if you would have been 40 when the internet started.
True, yeah,
then you're
but
gonna be
maybe you're not.
60 now,
Maybe you don't
so
have a computer right
You're
away,
over
though.
60, really. You're well, no, but like 20 years, get a computer.
That's ageist.
We live in the future. Don't people know that?
Oh my god! I remember the first time I looked up adult entertainment on my dial-up modem computer back in the 90s. Like, oh, dude, like. I think findaceleb.com was my first kind of porn site. It was all like celebrity nudes and shit. And they were all like, a lot of them were like poorly done, like photoshopped, like put the head on this actual stripper's body. Some of them were really bad, but like other ones were like, Jerry Halliwell, Ginger Spice, she was actually a nude model before she became famous. So it was like hers and shit like that. So then just that kind of was my foray into it with the internet age and just kind of snowballed from there.
What I don't know if I mentioned, I might have told you. So my plan originally for your bachelor party, obviously, I would have got you a stripper.
You were actually planning this?
Well, that was my thought. So
Strippers
when
are us?
Your original, okay, this probably would have all worked out on your original wedding date. But because
this is the first, second, or third year.
Yeah,
we were
right.
doing,
You know, exactly. So, and then this year it was just like, well, COVID and all this shit. It's like you can't. I can't do what I want. I was gonna get you a stripper, but my plan
So Emily, if you're watching,
my plan was to get you an Elvira lookalike stripper.
No way. You know me so well. So this is a thing?
That's what I was looking into. I was like trying to find the girls. I was looking online at the girls that I can find.
Not in Nova Scotia.
It was super difficult. There was one I think that I saw that kind of could pull it off. But like, then I have to make sure. My other thing is like I want them to know who this person is. Like I want it to be good, right? That was my thought. It probably would have cost a couple $100. But between like all your friends and stuff, and I like, but that was my thing. I was like, he would love that. Like that would have been perfect.
That would have been amazing. Honestly, my jaw would have hit the floor.
Like this woman comes in looking like Elvira, and then
black dress and the boobs pushed up, and probably the bouffant hairstyle.
I was looking for like a pale skin,
like
black haired girl. Like
younger one, like are we going like MILF-ish, like
well, there's not many MILF. I don't know how many MILF strippers there are, but I was just looking at like regular women.
Right. So how'd you find this one?
I didn't find any of them. I didn't book any of them. I was just looking online because there are like you can again like that person that we probably just saw like if I could find a picture of her and if she could fit the role.
True.
It would be hard though for that woman because she's already in like a super tight dress. But I would just, try to do your makeup like Elvira does.
Yeah, just like she does, like really like she looks like a corpse. Like obviously, and she's like tall and.
So that's what I was gonna do for your bachelor party, but it never worked out.
The things I find out years, well, I guess literal years later.
It was years later because that was my first idea too. It was just like,
dude, I wish I would have. Oh man,
I didn't want to get you we can get a stripper, but
go the extra mile. Did I ever tell you that I was like not really infatuated, but like a love for? I guess we must have talked about it at some
tons
point.
Of times, and like I like Elvira too. Like I always thought she was hot and shit. So, but it's just like I just thought that would have been an awesome bachelor party thing.
That would have been legendary, John.
Right?
Like nobody.
Legend. Wait for it. Dare.
Yes. No, it would have. Honestly, nobody would have thought of that. I wouldn't have thought of that. Like I wasn't going to do stripper. Like I didn't want. Like
you didn't. No, that was my thing. It's like because I know John probably wouldn't give a fuck or probably be like, don't do that. It's like, no, this is different. This would be cool. He would like this a lot.
I wouldn't have.
It's not just getting a stripper, any random girl to just strip. It's putting a theme to it.
I think that means something. To might have gone over a little bit better. Had it happened and having to still be able to get married. It's funny enough. Like she knows I've been to Angie's and shit like that, and that was the first time I ever got a lap dance, which is also legendary. Thank you for that, by the way. But having oh my god, that was another spectacular time. But Elvira lookalike stripper, forget it. That's legendary status right there. Man, fuck, I wish that would have worked out. Shit, dog.
The only other woman that I know would have been like Sigourney Weaver, but like you can't really find it. Like, there's nothing I can really get to like
I get made fun of for having like a love for Sigourney Weaver because I don't know, she a lot of like she's not like your typical
I never found her like
bombshell type woman. Right?
I never found her like super super attractive. I think she's a great
I found her
actress.
attractive now. I didn't like back when I was growing up. Like she was more of the badass, like Linda Hamilton in Terminator, and she was like, and Sigourney is obviously in like Aliens, and she's always been that badass.
More of an action.
She's an action star that I've fucking adore.
I like what Charlize Theron is now for the most part. She does.
She became more into, especially with like her being in the new Mad Max film and shit like that, and
Fast and Furious. And
I didn't know that. I don't watch the Fast.
She does like she does some like romantic comedies and shit like that, and comedies, but she's like it's almost like she's that go-to beautiful like action.
She can. She's like a Jill of all trades kind of thing.
Yeah.
She can pull it all off. Not every actress can pull off roles. Like a lot of actors and actresses get typecast into the roles, and nobody can, like Jim Carrey, like when he tried to go serious, it just came off to me kind of jarring when he did the movie 13 or whatever the fuck it was. Or
I think
when there's a sex scene with Ace Ventura in the movie, like I seen the movie and it's like,
that was like the first one though, right?
His first real dramatic role, like
was outside of his mostly comedy.
And Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind.
So, but that's the thing. Like, so I do think Jim Carrey's a great actor. He's a great comedian.
He is,
and I think he's a good actor. And to me, it's almost like similar to Robin Williams playing, like, remember like Insomnia and shit.
Also, did you ever watch 1 Hour Photo? He was like the stalker. And
yeah, that was years ago, and I don't remember much of the movie.
It's good, and he actually, funny enough,
that's the thing.
He pulls off those roles a little bit better than Jim, because
Jim never actually played like a role like that, but I think Jim Carrey could play like, you know, a good sadistic person.
I think just growing up and seeing him in as goofy movies like you know The Mask and Ace Ventura, I think just seeing him in like a role where he's
a big contrast. It's like huge.
Yeah, it's really it's jarring.
Robin Williams didn't really do like a dramatic role like a horror role like Insomnia or any of that shit till like later on in his career.
Well,
like,
these
Jim's
actors
doing
know
all this the same decade.
Yeah. Well, Robin, because he was more than established at that point. It's like everybody knows that he's like the gonzo crazy actor, but he can also pull off some sort of dramatic roles. Like 1 Hour Photo is a fantastic film, and it's not a typical role of Robin Williams. No. You see Robin Williams, he's like the big goofy guy, but I thought that was a fantastic film. I watched it around when it first came out, and it was a little off-putting a little bit, just seeing, you know, an actor you're used to seeing just being fucking off the wall crazy and funny, like just being like this stalker-esque kind of creepy guy, right? So, but it was a good, he played it off well, and I think, you know, a lot of actresses try to branch out. It just kind of like backfires on them. I'm blanking.
It can, and it, like, well, no, I know what you mean, and I know I'm blanking too, but there are, like, you know,
Adam Sandler, another one.
So, well, that's the thing too. So, like, he has his ups and downs with some of the, like, you know, well, has ups and downs for like his movies. But I actually don't like, as a critic or a fan or somebody watching the movies. There's movies that I just like, that's a terrible movie. But he's just doing what the fuck he wants. And that's what I can kind of tell with his movies. Are just like, he has this dumb idea. He's just gonna do it.
I think these actors...
funny. Sorry, Adam Sandler, if you're watching.
Yeah, if you are. He is funny. I'll give him this. When I first found Adam Sandler, his movies were fucking awesome. They were funny. They made me laugh. I discovered his comedy albums. Like, he did like this comedy, like it was gold.
Yeah.
Like, you know, have you ever listened to them?
Oh yeah.
Like Toll Booth Willie
was,
and the beating of a high school.
What do you call it? Original.
What? Oh, you unoriginal! I already heard that one. You unoriginal bastard! Go suck a cock.
He didn't say bastard. They call him something. You unoriginal. I can't remember what he called.
We'll have to bring that up.
But yeah, those were good. And him, what was it? The one with him jerking off.
Yes, the severe beating of the high school janitor and high school Spanish teacher.
Severe beating of
the buffoon ones were good too. Like the buffoon's date with like the school's valedictorian. Oh, when like they're watching a movie, and it's the straight woman with the buffoon, and like, oh, thank you for taking me out. I thought you'd be a little bit more apprehensive of taking the school valedictorian out. Tastes like this popcorn got jizzed in. and it's a back and forth, and it's the straight woman like just, you know, like playing off like this fucking idiot, and one of them, the same one, is like, oh yes, it would be off-putting to have semen in your popcorn. Like you would,
it would be off.
You'd expect a higher standard of quality. Kathleen Turner has really big tits. Yes, a woman of her stature. Like, I think she's recently had children. Like, you know what I'm talking about. Like, that was one of them too. That to me, like, that was like Adam Sandler at his prime. He was in SNL. He was in his prime.
I find like there was a prime for him, but it's not that he's like he, like, again, to me, I said it was like hits and misses, and it's like he
not
did
all
some
his comedies
shitty shit,
were
but
good
he's
too.
done some fucking amazing shit, and in between these things,
it
just depends on, like,
Well,
projects. When you have guys though, like you're like more like it has to be the right, like a fucking Daniel Day-Lewis or something. Like is he ever going to do a bad movie? Probably not. Does he do movies often?
Yeah,
no.
Daniel Day-Lewis is the actor. He does quality over quantity, though. You don't really see him in a lot of big budget blockbusters. Like
you probably won't see Daniel Day-Lewis in a Marvel film. Even though it's going to probably
he would be a good Batman. He would be a good. Bruce Wayne. You think Bruce Wayne? Think debonair? You think,
Well, number one, he's too old for that. But I don't see him as a Bruce Wayne type. I see him more of like a really good villain. Like I could picture him doing like a really good like Lex Luthor.
Like I told people about Joaquin Phoenix's portrayal as the Joker, which is probably one of my newest favorite movies of all time. Like an actor,
it's a deep movie.
It's It's psychologically
the way that it takes its take on mental health. I thought that when I saw it, I was like
it really puts
it hits
it into
home in a lot of ways.
Well, I mean, I deal with mental shit. Like
everybody does, but that's the thing. It's like wow. It's like, okay, this is, to me, that movie was the closest to giving a person who doesn't know about mental health an example.
Yeah, exactly.
Of what real people go through.
Mm-hmm. And he actually played it off. He was over the top, but you could see people like this, like people that have mental, issues and
how other people treat them.
Yes. And like how public, people would treat them like treat them as outcasts or, don't go near this person. He's fucked up kind of thing. And then he plays it off so well.
And also it makes like, okay, so when you got a person who has like mental issues and then, people like make fun of him for it or put him down for it, like disparage him for it. What do you think a person who can't think right's going to think?
Yeah.
It's
hard. Well, it's hard for them to think.
Like, how can you, if you're just nice to them, what do you think a person's going to think? It's like, you don't know, take your chances and be nice to them and then don't fucking,
yeah.
Like,
don't rub them the wrong way.
Then it might help people not to fucking.
Well, I think a lot of people don't know how to react to people with disabilities like that as well. Like they don't know.
It's part of the problem.
Yeah, there's a stigma around it, right?
Socially, but I will say at the same time, humans never were. It was always until the last like couple 100 years and less than last. It's all about survival of the fittest, It's like if you had mental issues, you're probably like the same as a fucking lioness leaving their.
You're an outcast,
who can't
Well, think about it this way.
It's like that's what humans did.
They did.
We did it less. We took there because of sympathy and whatnot. We take care of them. But now we have to accept everybody and.
Well, back in the day, there were the treatments were barbaric. Like the shock therapy and also lobotomy was a thing. Like to lobotomize an individual because they were different. Like this was a thing. Yeah. Like they would lobotomize mental patients just because they were something was off about them.
Now there are people like mentally who are just naturally like violent. Mentally, and I've seen that myself.
Sometimes they have to pacify them because of it. If they're
I've seen one recently, and I won't get into too many details, but it's a mentally challenged. I don't know what the type word is, but man, mentally challenged was a word I didn't know. That's fucking politically correct, whatever.
I don't know.
But anyways, his thing, he does break into violent outbursts, like where he just like he'd hit people, like
You know this person?
Don't know him, but
okay.
I met him. Anyways, he's intimidating in that sense too, because he's not a small person. But like even his mom or whatever is just like if you jar him, it's almost like where they say like don't make a sudden movement next to a bear because it'll freak it out. That's what this person is like.
And he'll just
like
act out.
You do something, then he'll just like
really?
That's what it's like.
Interesting. Okay.
So it's a lot of work to take care of this person.
Yeah.
But it's almost impossible to understand them.
Mm-hmm.
But if this was 100 years ago or whatever, they'd be shock therapy, they'd be lobotomizing them, who knows, like, you know, what and could make it worse or better or whatever.
Straight jacket.
Yeah. I couldn't imagine. That's another thing that really weirds me out when I see it's all. I don't. From what I've seen in movies and culture and what I've read and seen and whatnot, it's when they take these people who are like, you know, freaking out or whatever, and you tie them down. Like, I'm not claustrophobic, but I really understand that fear.
Yeah.
Like I get it. I get shit. That camera's still going.
We're still here. We just had a camera go down.
But yeah, like when I see them holding people down,
restraining them. I mean,
like that
yeah.
Dude, like you just can't imagine how mentally.
Well, that just sets them off even more, right? I mean, like it's.
No, exactly. Like,
I worked with patients like that when I was a porter. We had to tether people to their beds, or they would get up and start writhing around, hurting themselves as well, right? So,
and that's the thing. So, like, and I don't know the answers of like, you know, how to fix people. Or,
yep, you're not a psychiatrist.
Yeah.
I mean, you don't know what these.
I don't know if you can fix them, or
that's the thing. Like,
deal is. But
pardon me,
at the same
sorry.
time, it's like this is the world we live in. We have to accept it.
it's true, and it's subjective too, John, because each individual is going to be different with their afflictions, right? So, I mean, one person isn't going to have work one thing, one fix isn't going to be right for exactly. So,
one person doesn't work for
no,
another.
and it won't.
And that's the society we live in. But that's what kind of.
And we lock these people away.
And that's what Joker kind of expressed.
Yeah.
It was like, you know,
a person with a mental affliction who acts out, especially towards the end of the film. I won't give away, all 3 people listening or watching. The finale, the lead up to the finale was breathtaking. But again, it gives a spotlight onto what an individual would be going through in life and just trying to live through a life and to his normalcy. And his normal life to another individual would not be a normal life because they don't see life the way that you and I would, right? So, and how he passes out his cards, the little cards to say,
I have an issue.
Yeah.
And that's the thing.
That's a real thing too. That's also a real thing.
You have to tell people that you're messed up.
Yeah.
Like that's another weird thing is just like, you are you.
Each individual is...
Be yourself. Okay.
Yeah.
I'll be myself, but nobody understands me. So I have to have a card
to
tell people something's wrong with me so they can understand me.
It's convoluted, but I mean, I get how
it's like saying a depressed person is going around. It's like, hey, you doing?
Just
like,
cheer up.
Listen, well, here's a card that says I have depression, and
yeah. How severe is it? Like I deal with a lot of. I have severe. Well, I don't know if it's severe, but I have dealt with depression, anxiety, and OCD. I'm very OCD. Like I have the safest house on the block. I had to make sure all the fucking locks are engaged. I had to make sure all the electronics are off, the oven's off, and all this shit. So I live in a very safe house. Pisses my wife off to a degree, but
well, for me, like I always like I'm pretty conscious of what I do.
Are you the same? Can you go to
I'm
bed?
OCD, but I'm not, but I like have.
You have to make sure the doors are locked before you go to bed.
Well, I know the door's locked. That's the thing. Like when you leave here today, I'm going to lock that door. I'm not worrying about it anymore. I'm not going back down there before I go to bed to make sure it's locked because I know it's locked. I locked it. But I have to make sure it's locked. But I know it's locked, so I just know it. So it's the thing.
What happens? But there's a variable. What if your roommate comes and goes?
Well, he does the same thing and he locks it too, and I just have to trust that he locks it. But I can't if I'm in bed and it's like it's midnight and he decides to get some takeout.
Yeah.
I have to trust that he locked the door.
I came home one time. My first place I lived in. I'm not sure if you were there at all on Spring Avenue in Dartmouth. No. I came home. I was living with you. You remember the girl I was seeing at the time? Maybe you didn't.
This might be before we met.
Maybe actually, I think it was. Sorry. Anyways, I was living with 2 dudes. One guy was a street kid at one time, and he decided to keep tabs keep not tabs, but friendships with some of the old crew. So I came home one time, the door was ajar. I came home from work. I was like, what the fuck? I locked the door this morning. I swear to God. I get in. It's a fucking commune on my floor of all these street kids and all their shits everywhere. And I lose my fucking mind. I throw them out. They're all pissed off. And I had to hear about it from my roommate because they were their friends. I was like, your roommate, like when I'm not here or when Mike isn't here. Yeah, the guy we live with. These guys, this is not cool. Like I have shit upstairs that's valuable. This isn't cool. This isn't a fucking convent. Your asshole friends can be here, but only when one of us is here. And it became a fucking huge debacle. So yeah, I had to deal with that for a bit. It didn't last long. I ended up leaving because I had enough.
Yeah.
I did piss on his bed.
You did?
Yes. That's a final fuck you. There was other shit that I won't get into. Well, I'll tell you later, but yeah, just going back, I just wanted to, because I swear to God, I locked that before I went to work that morning. That's when I was working for Borders, I guess. And yeah, it's and now I'm less of a mental case about it, I guess. But I always have to make sure that at least the oven's off, the stove's off, doors are locked. Because there was a break-in down the road. There's a.
I will say, let's not to make it paranoid. But your house is pretty prime. If I was like to do a break-in, it's like, and if you guys aren't home right now, your place is free game.
The guy on the corner was broken into by, I don't know. I mean, I don't know him, but I mean,
Did they catch him?
No, he told me it was a hooker that he hooked up with.
Oh,
and
okay.
she came back for money or something. Like something happened, so she broke in the bottom window, and he came home from work, and she was there making food. Like this hooker that like he's alone, but apparently.
Well, that's the thing.
Relations with hookers. So
actually,
like,
that's the thing.
That's your own deal. So
well, that's one of the paranoias I have. Honestly, it's a big paranoia. So like, when I was looking for a roommate, we didn't have many people come and look.
Yeah,
but it's like, okay, what do you call it? It's almost like recon. So like you see people who are looking for a roommate or looking to rent a place or sell a place, whatever. Person comes in pretending that they're looking for a place. See what you got. Know the layout.
They're casing the joint.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's
this guy has all this gear. I'm not going to say what it is.
And for me,
I gotta give you this. You are brave for bringing in people you don't know because you do have
that is a thing.
Toys.
Like there's a talking a little bit on the Facebook or the.
You obviously
like I did it on Kijiji.
You obviously do a screening of these individuals.
Yeah,
right?
to an extent, but like I know the name. I can Facebook them maybe if they have it. Now, if they don't have Facebook and shit like that, I get paranoid.
Yeah. But it's like with jobs. They will look you up on Facebook, and this guy looks like a complete asshole. Don't hire him, kind of thing. But
at the same time, it's like so. I've only had a couple of people in, but that paranoia, like that's my paranoia.
I wouldn't be honestly. I wouldn't be able to sleep.
But in another sense, though, for me, a couple things is my place. Like I know how I'd break into here, but it's not easy. It seems like it could be.
Well, don't give anybody fucking ideas.
I'm not going to say any bad ideas, but the door's fucking solid. Everything's always locked.
You'll have neighbors that would see shit too.
That's the other thing I was going to say. Like, there's people. Like, I live in a building with other people. Like, somebody's coming in here. They can see that it's not me. Yada yada yada.
Yeah.
There's that. Also, it's like, to get my shit out, you'd have to go at my front door.
Yeah.
Like, so, and again, that's right next to other people's doors.
Yeah, you're lucky in a respect that you do have a lot of neighbors around. They can
My job,
keep an eye on shit,
like,
so.
you know, and so like if anybody breaks in while I'm home, I'm going to hear it. If now my job though, I, you know, jump around. So I come back home for lunch most of the time. So like, and I can come in between like, you know, in between jobs, because I come home to use the bathroom sometimes. Like I have, like, you know, that's my job. Like, so I'm gone and back here or not very, very randomly. You don't know. Like, you could see me leave at 8:00 and I could be back here at 8:30. Like, you don't know. So it's hard for somebody to rob me.
Yeah. You're handy to your place, which is good because you can always kind of keep an eye on it, right? So I mean, and you can drive by and see if anything's askew.
Yeah, that too. Yeah. So it's like, you know, I'm not, again, I don't work, and well, also having a roommate who he's always home. So it's like, you know,
does he work from home or something?
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's like I don't have a lot of I don't have a lot of worries about getting broken into and all that other shit.
With me seeing how we are,
you guys
we're
are
at,
hidden.
Yeah.
Nobody sees you. If you guys weren't home, you drive in, I could smash a window and I could fucking spend an hour there. You would never know. Aside from
I do have a dog who is very alert and is like having your own home security.
Yeah, but they're not gonna. They're not that vicious.
I don't know. Ripley can look and seem vicious though if she wants to be. People are shocked. Like,
really? I've never seen her like bark or anything.
My parents have.
Oh really?
That like yeah, because she will. If somebody comes in, I will know if somebody comes in my driveway because Ripley is barking. The back of her fur is standing up. She is ready to pounce. She's not pounce.
No, so okay. One day, I came to your house where you're living with my Bell van.
Was that the beginning of COVID? You couldn't come in, wasn't it?
Oh right, yeah.
Remember, we were talking on the phone. I was seeing.
Yeah, but I was right outside your house there. But there was another time. I feel like I popped by as this. No, maybe I didn't. I can't remember now.
You do many calls?
But anyways, anytime I've gone to your house, like I've scared you at your place on Newcastle Street, and like, you know, the dog never barked then, even though she might, you know.
Our new dog. Have you met the new dog yet?
No, I haven't actually.
My buddy who was over the holidays, and she wouldn't shut the fuck up. She's unsure of certain people, like, and she's fine with my parents and even John. Like, she will go apeshit on John, like just bark, and then finally settle down. But she wouldn't shut up for this friend who was over, and he is a trustworthy guy. I've known him since high school. She's particular with Ripley, our older girl. Like I said, if somebody comes to the door, somebody comes in the driveway, she's very on the what's the word I'm looking for? She's very receptive to these things. Like, if somebody, like, without fail, anybody comes into our yard, onto our property, it's every time. So I got that. There was also, you know, I was actually worried with the active shooter, the denturist guy, was on his way out through the highway, which would have, I'm not gonna say where it is.
Yeah.
But there was
that guy was looking for like suicide by cop eventually.
I think so.
Like, there's like, you know, honestly, like, you're not getting away with it.
He was shot dead, right?
Yeah, by the cops at the big stop of Enfield. I think. Yeah.
He was so close to getting back into town. And I don't mean to bring up, I hate this. This is the biggest, excuse me, one of the biggest, if not the biggest, shooting in Nova Scotia, I believe. I think it is the biggest. I was told. I think so.
Maybe most mass. Who knows? Did he kill like 5 people?
Yeah, more, I think.
Yeah, and I don't know. That guy man.
He was just unhinged.
And he was unhinged. He was prepared. Like, he knew what he was going to do.
He had a fake cop car and fake cop gear.
He planned this for a long fucking time.
I was told he wanted to be a cop, but he didn't have the chops for it and he got denied. So this was kind of like a revenge ploy. And then he became a denturist for some fucking reason.
No, that's why I don't think he was a cop.
He wanted to be a cop.
Sorry, I think his issue was just women.
Speaking
a
of
woman or whatever.
Well, I guess they were at a party and they had a fight.
And then, he just decides like, all right, I'm going to fucking just make
Go
everybody
off a
else
bunch of
miserable
people
and
and
kill people. And then, what are you going to do after that? Go to jail? Like, you can't do that and expect to get away with it.
Well, look at the guy in Moncton, speaking of which, going back.
I was thinking about him just now when he mentioned that too, the shooter guy, right?
Yeah, I can't remember his name. They call him the maple syrup Rambo.
I never heard that. God.
Did. Because he went on a rampage and he had a bandana. He was in the woods and shit.
But again, you're not like, okay.
He knew what he was doing too. I guarantee you. He knew
there's things he was doing, but like I don't understand how most these criminals or whatever, killing people, whatever, think you're getting away with it when you're doing it in that fashion.
Well, he gave up. He came out of the woods after hours of being.
He probably got hungry.
Well, no, he was wet and it was raining out and he was like just out in the woods hiding. And he came out. That was the time that Emily was already in Fredericton and we were supposed to move that day. Or the next day, maybe. Our friend was driving the U-Haul up with all her gear. That almost fucked up my plan because she didn't obviously want to go. It's Moncton's on the way. And this guy picks up as a hitchhiker. Well, we're fucked. Anyways, I looked up the police radio signal. You can look it up on Google and you can listen to it. And it was actually kind of creepy. And you can listen to all the cop banter. And then when it got really bad, it went radio silent. It was dead. It was actually, I'm getting chills thinking about it now because it was actually really creepy because they were saying like what was happening in the moment, right? So there's another
you never know what people
fucking
are
nut. Well, this guy sounds like this guy had a really bad upbringing. His Facebook posts, I looked him up on Facebook. He had a Facebook profile and he had lyrics to a Megadeth song. I remember this. It was.
Man, why is it always heavy metal?
Why is it metalheads? Why Columbine? It was heavy metal and video games. Heavy metal and video games gets blamed for a fucking lot. Let's be honest here. I played video games and play video games and listen to heavy metal. Guess what? I don't even own a fucking gun. I don't own a gun and I don't want to own a gun. I've shot a gun a couple times. So have
I
I.
like to know how to use a gun, but at the same time, the only reason I want a gun is zombie apocalypse. Like that, not like any apocalypse, but like, it's like I want to be able, if it comes to a situation where the world is fucked and everybody else is going around shooting people, at that point I want to have a gun.
Yeah.
But I just don't I don't need a gun. There's no reason for me in this house where I live my life to just have
I should get one.
Own a gun.
Well, I have a coworker who is a member of a gun range just out of the city here, and he can take guests with him.
I think you were the same spot I was, out Muscadava way.
Yes.
Yeah.
You were out there?
Yeah, that's where I shot.
Oh, fucking A, man.
Yeah.
Like I used his guns because he has a collection of guns. I won't say the
does.
name. Yeah. So he has, it's fucking awesome.
Should we get our gun friends together and we all go?
Well, actually, I'm planning, and I told my wife, 3 guys where I work have already bought firearms because they went as guests. So I want to get a rifle, probably just a 22, nothing too severe. One guy actually got a shotgun, and I fired a couple of 22s, 2 shotguns.
Are you planning on being a hunter?
No, just to blow off some steam.
I don't even. But that was the thing.
It's
actually,
fun though. And I'm not one of these assholes that's gonna go lose my fucking shit and go on a fucking rampage. I don't do that, man.
No, but I say I like to know how to. I like to know how to use a gun. That's the only and I don't need to own a gun to do that. Like my buddy owns a gun, so it's like if we really want to, if I have a car, whatever. It's like we can take the guns, we can go out whatever day and shoot some.
You can
guns.
go in the woods if you have your license. You can go in the woods and just shoot at targets.
Yeah,
as long as you're out of the confines of the city, I guess.
Yeah. But you have to be basically almost like in a hunting zone, which
Yeah.
I really don't want to be in another spot where the people are finding guns willy-nilly wherever spot.
Well, you're not gonna
I
go
want
in your-
everybody shooting them the same way.
You're not going to go in your fucking backyard, start putting up fucking clay pigeons and shit like that, man.
I would like to be able, I don't know, like I'm pretty sure it's, maybe it could be legal to say if you owned a house and in the basement you built an indoor gun range, like they would have at a police station. Like
you'd have to have so many regulations for that.
yeah.
Though.
Like, well, obviously, if I was to do it, I'm thinking like just a concrete room. And then you have your things with the things and,
Yeah, that'd be soundproof and make sure it's,
you have to be licensed
safe.
and smart and shit and all
There
that
was,
shit.
Have you been to Nova Tactical, the one in Burnside?
No.
Our older brother had been there and showed us video of him just shooting off some random firearms, and he just had a fucking ball.
Is that so? Like you can go inside and shoot at
yes,
this? Okay.
it's a live range shooting
Do
range.
you need you
don't need a license.
They have the guns.
They have the guns. You can buy it. You can go online and you can pick your package.
Okay.
Like there's a military package.
does it
With
cost?
It's expensive.
Yeah,
but there's a breakdown of each package. Like this package, like the base package is like a couple handguns. It's like maybe $60.
That's
then you
not
get
bad.
No, it's not. And then you get your three choice of handguns, and then you get into like your rifles, your shotguns, and then there's like military packages.
Okay.
You can fire like machine guns, like military grade machine guns and shotguns and tactical shotguns. Then you're getting into hundreds of dollars, and plus your ammunition.
Yeah. The ammunition is where the money's going.
Oh fuck yeah, ammo! Like I was hanging out with my buddy at the range,
and they're gonna have to like clean these guns almost every time you use them.
Oh yeah, it's maintenance too. Yeah. There was a suicide there. Yeah, a guy went there, took one of the firearms, and there was a big news thing about it. Fucking shot himself, dead, at a gun range. I mean, if you're gonna go out, go with a bang, I guess. But I mean,
but he dad like
just
that's just an asshole move.
It's selfish
to do that there,
and plus all these people that are around.
Like number one, the people who are there who see it, the people have to fucking clean it. You have to deal with this happened in your house type thing.
The mental trauma that you're fucking
like, it's like you're doing all that to like that affects so many people. Like it's just shitty.
It's shitty and it's fucking you will never forget that, man. That's life-changing shit. If you see somebody fucking off themselves with a fucking gun, you're having nightmares, man. Like I remember the first time I saw like a trauma.
I'm out.
Oh,
no, go ahead. We'll close this up.
Yeah. Well, working for the hospital, I've seen some pretty gritty looking shit. I actually have had people die right in front of me. I've had people die and take their last breath.
Okay, actually,
in front of me.
I'm going to interrupt you because we'll finish off this, but I have a question because I thought about this. So I'm very interested in. I've been really contemplating a lot. Thinking about forensic science.
Okay.
I think like in the like I don't want to be a cop, but I would like to be like an investigator of sorts, or like even forensic science and stuff like that. Like I want to like I think I'd be good at that.
Yep.
Solving those things. I grew up with very shady people.
Yeah.
I understand it. So it's like I feel like I have a good mind. To solve
you can read
crime.
these, yeah.
My problem is
you're too pretty.
I don't want to see a dead
I know
body,
where this is going. Okay, so I know
like
exactly
imagine
where this is
you have to
going.
go into the house and you have to see a person with a hole through their head
or a missing head.
I or
God knows what else.
That's what I it's partly it's like okay. I know I feel like I could see it and whatever, but at the same time it's like I don't think it would really affect me deeply, but I do feel like it changes you. I feel like you think it's a different thing, and depending on how often you see this. Okay,
so you've opened up a Pandora's box in a good way for me, because when I worked for Capital Health, I don't care, I haven't been with them for over 12 years. I had to... We still going?
Yeah, I got that other camera going too.
Sorry for all the hiccups, folks. This is episode 5 or 6, can't remember. So I'll put it to you this way, John. So some of my patients, shall we say, were of the deceased variety.
They're not patients anymore.
No, they've lost their patience. Okay, I'll word this a little bit differently. So I've had to work in the morgue for my career at that point, and one of my first encounters of a body bag victim, well, I think it was a traffic accident, but he wasn't having a good time. He was covered in blood. He was dead in a body bag, but they, for some reason, they left the top open where the face is. So I seen this guy totally dead. His face is all fucking cut to shit. Something terrible happened to this guy. So I had nightmares for weeks. So I'll put it to you this way. Yes, it got easier for me as time progressed because I was dealing with this on a more of a daily basis as my job progressed with the company. So will you ever be 100%, okay with it? No, I never was. But I'm also really I have a dark side where I kind of I have a very big interest in that as well. I almost wanted to be in that kind of realm. I almost wanted to be a coroner. Maybe not a coroner, but maybe an autopsy tech, because I befriended, his name was Dan as well, actually.
At least you don't have to work with people.
No, not living. I saw an autopsy. That was fucking interesting.
Yeah, I'm not
this guy was cut open.
Listen, I wince at horror movies.
I
know it's fake.
No horror movie will ever.
Well, that's the thing. And it's to me, I don't know if it's a good thing, bad thing, whatever. But it's I don't think seeing
my advice,
fucked up corpses is a good thing all the time.
No, but my advice is you have to disconnect yourself from that. You have to say to yourself, this is part of my job. And I can't err on the side of, being able to project yourself with it. You have to make sure that you have, I'm failing on words here, but you have to basically disconnect yourself from it and make sure that you know that you're doing this for your work, for your job, and make sure that you don't try not to take it at home. Like I said, I lost sleep for a good week.
That's not bad, but it's when I see cop movies and shit.
It's different, John. Seeing it in real life.
I mean, how they, they're always divorced or ex-wife and kids, and it's just they're detached from real life, and you got to think about it as just okay, you're coming home to fucking whatever dinner, 2 seconds or 5 minutes after seeing somebody's fucking brains. It's how can I eat that day? Type thing. It's how can I be? How can I let my wife?
It depends.
How can I feel pleasure by the kiss of my wife? How can I feel pleasure by being around my kids? It's after you're seeing horror,
you get
right in front of you.
For me, I got used to it because I was just surrounded by it on a regular basis. I was with the company for 6+ years. Like I said, I think it was up to 4 people that died in front of me. One guy, I'll never forget this, John. This guy had a heart attack, slipped in his bedroom in the hospital. I get called to a code blue. It's a back shift, so I'm the only one on. So I get called to a code blue, which is patient unresponsive due to cardiac arrest, and they're lifting this guy up with one of those harness machines, for people that don't have a lot of mobility.
Okay, yeah.
And they're lifting him up, and he's moaning and vomiting at the same time, and he's dying. And puke was coming out of it, and his eyes were open. He was dead, or dying on his way out. And they put him back in his bed, and his eyes were open. Puke still coming. I'm sorry to be so graphic.
Probably would have. I felt like he would have choked on his own.
Something happened. Yeah, and it was just coming out. Anyways, he ended up dying. So that fucked me up for a good spell. But you know what? In my experiences, John, I got used to it, and I had to disconnect myself, my personal self, to my business self.
Yeah.
I had to make sure that I'm doing this for my job. I have to make sure that I can't I'm going to try not to connect myself with this individual. I don't know who this person is, and it's going to fuck me up. And I'm seeing his face right now. I'm seeing his face, beard, short curly hair, fat, short fat guy, and they're hauling him off the ground in this harness machine, and he's moaning. He's moaning, John, as his life is just.
I feel like they're like, well, I don't know.
I got stories. If you got a fucking
no, we'll save those other stories for another time. But I was thinking about things.
But I
like,
think you would be
if you know, like this person is gonna die in like 5 minutes, and the next 5 minutes of his is just puking in pain and whatever. Why not just like shoot him up with like the death penalty? Like just
they don't carry that with them. I mean,
no, I know, but it's like you got like you're just honestly. If I'm dying, like within the next day or two that I'm dying, and all I'm feeling is pain.
Well, Dr. Kevorkian made a job out of that.
Yeah, but there's
suicide doctor.
I do okay. I do have this kind of thing of like I don't believe suicide should be illegal in certain aspects. I don't think a 20-year-old should off themselves because you're young, whatever, they fuck themselves. But you're 65, you're in pain. You've lived 65 years already. You decide that you want to die then. That's up to you. I don't think anybody else should have a say in it. Again, you're 25, you're 30, you're 40. You shouldn't kill yourself. You shouldn't be whatever the fuck. But I think, when you're coming to a point of like, you're in a decent age, you're you lived a number of years, but it's like, that like, the next 2 months of your life is just going to be hell, or even 6 months of your life is going to be hell. It's like, okay, well, what am I going to do for the next 6 months?
Suffer.
65. It's like, what am I going to do? Write a book?
Some people have.
You could, and if you got that, do it. Whatever.
That's your legacy. That's your magnum opus.
But that's the thing. Like, you could do that, or if you really don't, or if you already had done it, or whatever. It's like, it's what I think about. The only reason why I think about this in this way is because of Hunter S. Thompson. He was 67 and he shot himself.
The creator of gonzo journalism.
That dude, though, lived 5 lifetimes in his life.
Well, did they discover what the trauma was? Like what
I believe there was a note. This is speculation. I believe there was a note. I did read it. What was a note, and they say it was a suicide note, saying that like he felt that I've been in pain. I've lived 17 years longer than I expected to or even wanted to. It's like
was he sick? I can't remember.
Not sick particular, but he was old, and he lived a life. Like that dude did damage to himself. 67 years old.
Heavy drug usage,
booze. Alcohol, all that stuff. He hung out with Hell's Angels. He hung out with Johnny Depp. Did you ever see the video of him shooting at his neighbor? Yeah, like they're doing an interview. But that's the thing. Like that guy fucking shooting. But that guy did not. That guy did not lack life experiences.
No, he's lived a life.
If I had a quarter of his life experiences, that's a full life.
Well, he has a legacy, and if you mention Hunter S. Thompson, a lot more often than not, a lot of people are going to know the name.
So 67 years old, he offs himself, but he's Hunter S. Thompson, and he wasn't like depressed. He's just like, I'm in pain. I'm just done.
Yeah, enough. Was it gunshot?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's like, he's just done. Like, I'm 67. I'm over it. I just don't want to be here anymore.
Lane Staley.
That's a different case.
But Lane Staley also, it wasn't.
He was a drug overdose.
Yeah, but it wasn't suicide. But I read that by the end of his musical career, he bought an apartment in Seattle, where he's from, in the University District, and a lot of people would see him come and go, and he was a big gamer. Like he'd come home with like video games and set up in his apartment, play video games, and he was done with just the career move, and he didn't want to be. I don't think he wanted to be part of the limelight anymore. So he would just be up in his room or in his apartment playing video games.
Limelight is not an excuse to kill yourself. Like say like Nirvana. You don't. Okay.
Which we still don't know.
You don't
if
have
it was
to be
Courtney.
famous. You know how easy it is to not be famous?
I've been trying almost my whole life to do it. I'm still not there.
Yeah, right?
You don't have suicide doesn't
Suicide
doesn't
know
Nirvana
fame. He doesn't want to be in the biggest band in the world. don't play shows.
But Kurt also, yes. But Kurt also had health issues. He had all kinds of mental issues.
There's a lot of issues again. Yes, there is issues.
Being married to Courtney,
but I don't
fucking
believe using an
Love.
excuse of fame is whatever. And so it's like, and Lane Staley as well. It's like, listen, I love Alice in Chains is one of my favorite bands.
Same.
Like top 3 for sure. But they like, you know, you didn't have like, what do you have? Like maybe 12-year legacy. So 12 years
in the band.
No, like his legacy, really. Like, like I'm even being generous, probably.
Well, no, more than that. Well,
like I'm thinking, what did he die? 2002,
around there, I think so. Yeah, maybe.
And when did the first Alice in Chains album come out?
91.
Okay, so 11 years of being
not
Lane
including the
Staley.
demos though.
11 years of being Lane Staley, and at this end of this, you're not even as big as what you were at the first year. You're fucking like Alice in Chains in 1992 was up here. Lane Staley of 2002 is down here in the realms of popularity and like fucking media.
Yeah, I agree.
It's like you're not famous, whatever. It's like, you know, you want to make music, you don't. But you're what, 30-something years old.
He wasn't old.
Yeah, like you can do other things if you want or not.
I forget. Did you ever watch? I didn't mean to interrupt, but did you ever watch their Unplugged MTV?
Yeah. Oh, yeah,
and not knowing now how he went about doing it and what happened. I read a whole story on it that Jerry was already pissed off.
Yeah.
But not in particular with Lane, but he apparently he ate a bad hot dog and it fucked with him and gave him food poisoning and he had to do the show that day. And Lane comes high out of his fucking gourd on fuck knows what. And apparently that he had to have his dealer there or he wasn't doing the show. And he was just, there was
drugs, man.
Lights were on, but the fucking house was empty. And he should have worn sunglasses because his eyes were rolling back in his head. Yeah. As a kid, I watched it with Chris, and I didn't know much about drugs.
You don't really. You just think
you don't associate
how this person is.
No, but then watching it now, and I've watched some recently watched it. It's like, wow, this makes more sense. Apparently, also there's a little tidbit that I found out. The original testing for the filming. Lane did not dye his hair pink at the first testing for the setting up with the cameras and shit.
Okay, hold on. I gotta piss.
All right.
And we're gonna end it anyway.
All right, give me
I wanted to end it.
All right, give me a beer. This always happens. You get me talking. Penis. You better keep that in. All right, folks, we're down to the Dan Legendary Comedy Hour. How's it going? So a husband goes out, gets his wife a Christmas gift. Actually, 2 gifts. He buys her a nice sweater and a vibrator. And Christmas morning rolls around. It's gift time, and the wife opens the gifts, and she's like, "What the hell is this? Why'd you get me these gifts?" And the husband, with a big smirk on his face, turns to his wife and he says, "If you don't like the sweater, you can go fuck yourself." Good night, folks. Cheers. I'm also wearing new socks today. Those bad boys. Comfortable as fuck. I left you in a little Easter egg you're gonna find.
Yeah, I heard something right there. I couldn't make it up. Sorry, I didn't grab beer. I was gonna end it because I don't have many minutes left. But
all right. Well, listen, folks. Come on. This is
sad. Well, I am out of beer.
Well,
on this sad ending,
we're gonna call it quits. But thanks for taking some time out with us. Another episode down. Can't remember what number it is now because the numbers are all fucked up on YouTube. So say goodnight, John.
Good night, John.